Okay, so now we are onto a video from Poscast Cringe. Brendan Schaub just hit rock bottom. Did he really? Well, honestly, he's close. I think he was more at rock bottom when he was an alcoholic, but now that he's sober and it's going downhill, that has to make it so much worse, I think. He's a baseball
We're
man.
back, and I want to apologize for leaving again. But it's only 10 days, 11 days, 10 days.
It's 2 weeks of filming. You're missing 2 weeks. You know what you got to do?
What?
Just show up.
That's right. Like,
Hey, and you can't even do that.
right, but listen, I'm going to get us some great guests. I'm at the mothership. I'm at Creek in the Cave. We got to get Johnny
DiCaprio.
Depp on.
Yep.
We get Johnny Depp.
Jared Leto.
We got to get Elon Musk
get his
on.
voice
We
out
got
there.
Elon.
Jared Leto.
Elon's in Austin.
But yeah, so you're missing 2 weeks when we just got here, so that's cool. But
Welcome back to the most slow motion breakup in history. Just when you thought Brendan Schaub couldn't embarrass himself anymore, his move to Texas is proving to be worse than everyone thought. When this all started almost 6 months ago, there were two main narratives going. The first one was moving to Texas is going to be an opportunity for Brendan to start fresh in a new city and rebuild what was once one of the biggest podcasts in the world. The second one was Brendan's move is going to be more of the same, and instead of a slow death in LA, we're going to witness a slow death in Austin. But I could never have predicted how much worse all of this would all turn out. Both narratives were completely wrong because, yet again, Brendan has redefined hitting rock bottom. Seriously, take a look at the new studio. They've gone for a Texas-themed logo background on the wall next to the stairs, and literally at the top of the stairs on the landing, that's where the Reed Act himself sits. And why do they have so many fucking tripods? If the camera locations are fixed, why don't they just build a cheap rig to save space and hide the cables? They could have saved so much space by doing that. Then, of course, you've got the solo Reed Act show set up right behind, which is just more of the same. And across the whole upstairs area, there is not one sound absorption panel in sight.
You know what I just thought about? You know what shows Brendan's narcissism? Is the fact that the Schaub show setup is arguably a lot better, but when it comes to TFAK, it's whatever. Yeah, this dude is such a narcissist, it's crazy.
Just some useless black rags hanging in the corners that do absolutely nothing for the human voice. So not only does the set and lighting look like a high school visual arts project, it also sounds like dog shit too. But that's not even the worst part. Wait until you see this. Brendan is using the entire lower floor to store all of his cars for the channel Drive Fast All Gas, and wait for it, they're actually in a storage unit. This gives a whole new meaning to what are we doing here, B? So let me just get this straight. They moved their podcast studio from LA to the middle of nowhere in some Austin storage unit that nobody can find, including Bryan Callen, and then they squeeze two podcast sets in the smallest area up the top so they could fit a bunch of cars downstairs for a failing car channel that doesn't make any money. This has Brendan the business shark Schaub written all over it. But the studio setup is only just the beginning. Literally everyone could see what was about to happen, except for Bupper. Bryan moved down there a couple of months before Brendan, and he's absolutely killing it. He's got a regular gig at Joe Rogan's comedy mothership, and he's making regular appearances at other comedy clubs.
I respect loyalty. I really do. And it's so funny because didn't Brendan say that Bryan should move to Austin to help with his comedy career? So when he does, then you're like, no, Brendan, then you say, I don't. I'm different. So Brendan, you're not that different if you end up moving. You only did this to move closer to Joseph Rogan. It is just so funny. Like, Joe, you can't pawn Brendan out on us and expect not to face the repercussions.
On various podcasts and shows. Now that Bryan's cashed up and flying high again, he's ready for a summer vacation, and your boy Brendan isn't happy about it. This was the conversation at the very beginning of the podcast, right after the cringy intro theme.
I hate the intro theme, and imagine being mad at your friend for going on vacation. Seriously, imagine that. Your friend goes on a cruise and you're upset with them. I didn't even know that was a thing.
Yeah.
Here we are, baby.
We're back, bud.
We're back.
Interrupts,
And I want to
interrupts.
apologize for leaving again. But it's only 10 days, 11 days, 10 days.
It was 2 weeks of filming. You're missing 2 weeks.
I'm not missing 2 weeks. I'm missing,
No, because you come back on like a Tuesday.
well, come back on a Wednesday. Yeah. I'll be,
Brian, that's 2 weeks.
no, but we'll get
of shows.
a podcast in that week. So it'll be 3 shows I miss altogether. 3 shows. I looked at it. A total of 3.
4, because you come back on Wednesday. We'd have to film on Thursday.
Yeah, we'll film on
Absolutely.
Thursday. We'll film on Thursday. But you know what? Hey, look at me. We're filming on Thursday, but guess what? We'll get it in. That'll be our Thursday. We'll do it Thursday morning. And then, so we only missed 3.
Maybe.
We
or
missed 3.
Like next week. So while you're gone on, what are you going, cruise?
I'm going with the
don't get
extended
it.
family.
I don't
Bubba.
get it.
It's
I don't get it.
every June.
It's so gay.
Well, it's my
How
whole
you?
family though. It's my dad. He's 85.
But cruises?
Well, it's a high-end cruise. We stop
Cruises
in
and
Barcelona,
Teslas, dude.
Roma.
Two things I f***ing hate.
No, but this is a great cruise. It's with the kids.
My theory is when Brendan was little, Papa Schaub went on a cruise and it left Brendan and Axe J really sad. And to this day, that's why Brendan hates cruises, is because he has PTSD of when his daddy left him.
It's it's great. It's fun.
But yeah, so you missed them 2 weeks when we just got here, so that's cool. But
Airing out your dirty laundry in the intro is a symptom of a dying podcast. Like, who seriously wants to tune into a show while they're working or just chilling at home? Maybe they're in the car, and the first thing they hear is Brendan bitching about Bryan taking a family holiday. It's like when there's a couple in your friend group who are constantly arguing and bickering, but no one has the balls to tell them to break up already. After all these years of Bryan needing Brendan more than Brendan needing Bryan, the tables have finally turned on your boy Bupper, and now he's copying a taste of his own medicine. Just watch the way Bryan talks to Brendan now compared to when they were back in LA. He gives absolutely zero fucks what Brendan thinks. He's doing things his own way and doesn't need Brendan's approval anymore. But Brendan's turned into the toxic ex-boyfriend who's trying to convince Bryan that he's nothing without him and needs him to be happy.
I just need you to
need a
kind
little-
of...
No, I got us. Listen,
You know,
do you know?
Hey, you know, after however long we've been doing this, I don't even know anymore.
yeah.
14 years.
Yeah, something like that.
Back hurts, right? Hey, after 14 years, my back hurts, and so does Chin's.
Chin and
My
Brennan
back.
have been.
Well, dude, what do you want him to do? Brendan, are you kidding? My back hurts. Cruises are gay, like me. Dude, if he's not doing the work, take the hint. Take the hint, dude. You crossing your arms, that is real, some self-defensive stuff right there. My back hurts. Like, stop mumbling.
In this studio, building this place out, putting up lights, renting the place, leasing it, paperwork, all that stuff.
Oh, buddy.
I mean, everything.
When
And
you go
I've
play
been-
grab ass when you're like on the lake doing,
I've been
I'm in
doing
here.
stand up and
I'm in
just
here.
I've been.
Oh,
Such
you
a
just
hard
show
worker.
up.
I've been. You know what I've been about as useful as a
hardest.
cow chewing grass.
Yeah.
And what else is new?
Yeah, my back hurts.
No, your back hurts. And I did say
hey,
thank you. I did text. I really appreciate it.
yesterday, after all the work's been done,
I really
you didn't even
appreciate
notice the lights? Nothing.
I'm such a dick with that stuff, and I apologize because I know you're doing a great job.
Yeah, I don't need a pat on the back,
Well,
right?
but, sometimes it's good. Your best friend should say, "Hey, dude."
No,
you're
I'm
kind of
used to it by
fishing
now.
for
That
it.
stuff
But I
doesn't
don't want
bother
to be
me.
that guy to you. I don't want to be that person. I want to be your friend who's there to support.
Yeah, but it's all, like, you just got to know. It's all good. I don't have any resentment. But me and Chin's back, me hurt.
So while
Me
Brendan and
hurt.
Chin have been breaking each other's backs, Bryan's been
He truly has the vocabulary of like a 10-year-old. Me back hurts. That's not even funny. That's where like we legit worry about you because you should be in some special classes. Like me. I had to be. Because I was stupid.
Chilling with the Austin assassins in the mothership green room. By the way, renting the place, leasing it, and doing paperwork all mean the same thing. And everyone knows that Bupper's not signing anything himself. Brendan's probably been loitering around taking pics and videos for Instagram and getting in Chin's way. But someone needs to pull Brendan aside and explain to him that Bryan's been carrying the show ever since they weren't able to book guests anymore. Everything wrong with the show is a direct result of Brendan and Chin's input. And when Bryan's the strongest link, you know you've got a problem. Speaking of guests though, like I said at the beginning, this move to Austin was meant to be an opportunity to bring on some big guests and breathe some life into this podcast. And now that Bryan's mixing it with the top 250 again, he's got some plans for the future.
What am I gonna do?
You know what you got to do?
What?
Just show up.
That's right. Like,
Hey, and you can't even do that.
right, but
Like, what about
Whoa. So Brendan's saying all you have to do is show up, but you're mad because when he does show up, he's not doing enough work. You just love to complain for the heck of it. He did show up, but it's not enough. Apparently Brendan and Chin are carrying the podcast when Brendan, arguably, the podcast would be well, no. We've seen Bryan on his own, and he gets all Mr. Philosophical, like the meaning of life is like, what? The meaning of life? Want to go there? I would say the meaning of life is to not R-word anyone. And you ain't doing such a good job with that.
gonna do? No, I don't want you touching anything.
Right, but that's,
hey,
I'd be here and I'd
touching
be like,
anyone.
do you want to put the, you'd be like, hey,
no, I don't need you to do that.
I know
Hey,
that.
Just show up.
Well, no,
Go on vacation.
now listen, I,
Whoa, so see everyone, that's my point. He's like, I don't need you touching any of it. So you were just complaining that he wasn't doing that, dude.
I'm gonna get us some great guests. I'm at the mothership. I'm at Creek in the Cave. We are gonna have some great fun
Hey, when
guests.
I've never heard. I've heard of Creek in the Cave. Is Creek in the Cave an actual
It's a
cave
great
in
club.
the creek?
It's a great club.
Oh, it's a club.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a club. It's
See, I always think of like small red rocks and the water's
It's
there.
like Vulcan Gas Company. It's like right there. Right. It's that whole section is. That's a great
Okay.
club.
That's
I
cool.
love that club.
That's cool.
Sunset Strip. We got some great comedy clubs.
That's
here.
cool.
Yeah.
That's cool.
So
you got the mothership last night?
yeah, I
Saw
did
some boys?
Story Wars with Louis J. Gomez.
And what is Story Wars?
So Louis J. Gomez.
Is it like a play on like this is
Interrupt.
not happening?
It's
like
great.
Ari Shaffir's thing?
No. Louis J. Gomez came up with this idea.
I have no idea, by the way. That's not.
Yeah.
I don't know what it is.
So you tell you submit stories anonymously. Like all five of us submit three
Live
different
crowd.
stories. Yep.
They submit
and then,
stories
and then
into a
they'll
hat?
read the story, and you have to guess who. It's a real story. You have to guess who in the crowd, who in the panel.
Oh, gotcha. So it's
Story
not
belongs
stories
to.
from the crowd.
Yeah, no.
It's stories from the panel.
Yes.
Okay.
And so I'm doing it with Big J Okerson, who might be the funniest motherfucker.
I
Big
always
ass
say that.
Like,
he might
Top
be-
5 doing it, Bubba.
Zach Galifianakis and Artie Lang, to me, were this raw, funny improvise, like being able to improvise, the funniest people I've
I don't
ever
like how you
met.
picked like 2 big guys, but yeah.
I would say Big J. Okerson is just from raw talent and ability to be
Nobody
funny.
funny.
There's nobody funny.
Calling Big J. Okerson a top 5 comedian in the world right now, and even going as far as to say that there's nobody going around better than him at the moment, is absolutely crazy. These guys are so fucking desperate for a guest that they've resorted to glazing average comedians. Next, they'll be saying how amazing Steve-O is to get him in the studio as well. Brendan has burnt so many bridges over the years that it's going to be almost impossible to get a decent guest on the show ever again. And with this whole move over the past few months, all the chatter and the endless promotion from these guys, we haven't heard one word about it from Bupper's North Star, Joe Rogan. We all know how much Rogan loves to gloat when another comedian moves to Austin, yet he's had absolutely zero to say about this in any facet. Come on, B. The writing's literally on the wall. And so after they finished glazing Big J, they moved on to Louis J. Gomez. And if you don't know the history here, stick around because I'll give you a taste straight after this clip.
Louis J. Gomez, you know Louis, his
Dad,
his
murdered.
dad was murdered. His mom was a drug addict. He went through some shit.
Yeah, everyone knows that.
Yeah, I didn't
That's
know
why
that.
he's who he is.
Yeah, I love that guy. He's great. We
Your dad, that's why.
I did a show. He had a stand-up show at Creek in the Cave.
He lives out here?
Tuesday, and then Wednesday at Story Wars.
He lives out here?
No, he just comes in.
He just in
But we'll
all
get
the
him on the podcast soon.
Yeah, he's great.
Has he done this podcast?
Come on, Lewis, yes.
Yeah, we got to get him back on.
He's done it, right, Chin?
don't
Jay
think
did
he
it for
has.
sure. Big Jay.
No, Lewis
Big
hasn't
Jay.
done it.
Lewis hasn't done it?
No, we got to get him on.
All the years that we've never had Lewis on?
No, we got to get him on.
Jesus.
We got to get him. We got to get Big J.
So for those of you who don't know the history, Lewis has been one of Brendan's biggest trolls over the years, especially after Gringo Puppy came out and Brendan started getting attention from the internet for being the world's worst comedian.
Didn't I say not to do keto?
No.
It's not sustainable.
You don't
for
know
a guy like you.
You don't know anything about anything.
I know everything about everything.
That's not true. I'll listen to Brendan Schaub, who drives an Aston Martin. Thanks.
But Brendan Schaub is a f***ing athlete. Okay, Brendan
He
Schaub
has
doesn't.
an Aston Martin.
No, let me explain. Brendan Schaub is an ass.
You showed up here on a
Tim
skateboard.
Martin. No, I didn't show up on a skateboard. I'm too fat
Brendan
to get on
Schaub
my
is the
skateboard
best
now.
comedian in the country right now. Look at me. Have you seen his stuff?
Yeah.
He's the best. So I will take advice from him.
Brendan Schaub, let me explain to him. He might be. There's a good chance he's the best comedian of our generation. Okay,
Yes.
that's neither here nor there.
Prolific.
This is nothing.
He's our
to do,
Hicks.
This has nothing to do with his amazing.
I understand the keto
unbelievable-
because he's an athlete. I was a swimmer when I was a child, Lewis, and I was a great swimmer. I'll beat you in a race, and I'll beat him in a race in swimming. I'll kick his ass in swimming.
Tim, Brendan Schaub knows nothing about being fat and getting in shape.
You know, and I guess the title of it was something along the lines of like Brendan Schaub caught trying to cheat on his wife, right?
Okay.
And there's a video of Brendan Schaub at a restaurant, like just a security footage, and he goes up to a girl, allegedly goes up to a girl. You don't know, it's literally security footage. It goes up to a girl. This video of him giving his number to this chick, his wife saw it, freaked the f out, and he was like, F this dude.
Yeah.
I'm sick of this guy saying, it bugs him all the time. He probably just doesn't say anything, right?
Pinched his nerve. He got him.
He watches every video this guy does on him, guaranteed.
Look, if it's about writing jokes,
Yes.
you go to Schaub.
Of course.
Okay, you go to Schaub, you take his writing workshop, possibly. Okay.
Please edit this out.
They call it a workshop.
My LA friends, we don't have
Comedy
to take this
workshop.
abuse. We don't have to take this abuse in LA. We have mansions and we all drive Maseratis. We don't have to take this abuse from these low-level bodega rats.
So, but then we're not talking about comedy writing. We're not talking
We're
about.
not talking about high-level, prolific comedian
His
Brendan
work.
Schaub.
Yes, it's workshop. He get his online
You need
course.
somebody that way.
Workshop.
There are seriously a bunch of clips like that of Lewis just roasting the shit out of Brendan. Same with Tim Dillon, Dave Smith, and Big J. And so after calling out Brendan for so long and inviting him to Skankfest, your boy eventually agreed to do it and went on the panel, only for all of them to kiss each other's asses and play nice. So the fact that Brendan's willing to see past all of that and invite them on his dying podcast just goes to show how desperate they are to get a decent guest on. But forget comedians, these guys are shooting for the stars.
We got to get Johnny
DiCaprio.
Depp on.
Yep.
We get Johnny Depp.
Jared Leto.
We got to get Elon
Just
Musk
get his
on.
voice
Got
out there.
Elon
Elon.
on. Elon's in Austin. A Boy Can't Dream.
Such low energy.
I don't know if we're the platform for it. I mean, I'd be down, obviously,
be.
but yeah, maybe.
Just asking.
I'll tell you who has, you know, obviously he's a good buddy, but you listen to Theo Von and JD Vance, there's not another host in the world who can do what Theo does with these politicians.
It's hilarious.
Buddy,
It's hilarious.
bro, you listen to
When you get to know
all the
JD Vance.
politicians should come on there.
I know.
because Theo.
You see this
feels
human
like
side of
me.
them.
Feels like me. He dips his toes in there. He kind of knows it, but he's not too into the weeds. So they're general questions that we're all curious about that no one asked them, but it's his way of thinking, dude.
There's an innocence
He
to
is.
it. There's an innocence.
It's his
to
lane.
Theo.
There's no one else.
Nobody.
You can find other Bryans and Brennans. You can find other, insert whatever podcast host you want.
I thought you just said you and Theo are the same.
There is not another Theo. When it's with these big politicians,
He's so
He's
unique.
not nervous. He's doing his thing.
I know.
There's information there. It's so good, dude.
He's so unique.
I just talked to him yesterday.
Really?
Just talked to him yesterday.
He's such a
Oh,
unique
okay.
human being.
Brendan went on that whole ramble about Theo Von just so he could say that he spoke to him yesterday at the end. He's more transparent than his wife's Instagram stories. But the whole Jared Leto thing is wild. Ever since Bryan Callen was falsely confused by several women of SAing them a few years
how
back,
happy he looks.
Brendan has adopted the default position to never believe any allegations that
Oh no, for sure. they're all just BS accusations, right? Look how happy Bryan looks on the JRE. Wait, or is this a Fiken pan? I am not sure because I know Brennan tried copying. Oh no, it says Stick Boy. Rogan would never have something so stupid written on his desk.
And make ever again. They've openly defended Russell Brand and Jared Leto, and I've even heard Bryan trying to defend P. Diddy, but then backtrack when he realized what he just said. Becoming apologists for celebrities with allegations against them is not the path back to doing big numbers and pulling in big ad dollars. And I'll never get sick of hearing Brendan try to leech off Theo Von's success. He has to constantly remind everyone that they're still good buddies, even though Theo ditched Brendan to go out on his own and become one of the biggest podcasts in the world.
Yeah,
Are you
Theo's
critical?
super aware too. Like he randomly texts me.
Weird.
I don't know if he knew I moved or something like that. And he's like, checking in, man, blah, blah, blah. You going through a tough time? And I was like, I just moved to Austin, man. Yeah, I'm trying to find my way. I'm heartbroken about LA. Yeah.
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 You did miss LA, right?
Oh, yeah. Yeah. Fuck yeah. I miss my community, my routine. You know,
Yeah.
I'll find it. And it's starting to
Why'd you
happen.
move?
You know,
You'll find it. You'll find
like I talked to this guy last night, and he moved from
3
LA,
years.
and he was like,
3
"Yeah,
inches?
Texas is great, man. Best decision I ever made." He goes, "But you should know it's no LA. You're gonna miss. There's no replacing LA." And I was like, "Oh, how long did it take you to get? How long did it take you to get like, back in routine and feeling comfortable?" It was 3 years. I went, "What?" He goes, "Yeah, tough 3 years. Tough 3 years." I went, "Oh."
See, I don't feel that way.
I went, hopefully it's faster for me than that. He goes, probably not, but you figure it's only 3 years.
Jesus Christ.
But just the sweetest guy too, just dead on it.
Things are not going to plan, and I'm not going to lie here, guys. As much as I think Brendan is his own worst enemy, I can't help but feel bad for the guy. He uproots his whole family while his kids are young to follow Bryan to Austin. Rogan hasn't even acknowledged their presence in any facet. Meanwhile, Bryan's hit the ground running, selling out shows at the mothership and going on different shows and podcasts. The new studio is in some random storage unit in the middle of nowhere. It looks shit and it sounds shit. Brendan's clearly hating it down there, but he's still pushing through with a brave face, trying to make it happen. Bro, just let it go. Admit you were wrong and go back to LA. You were clearly happier there. This didn't turn out the way you thought it would. Rogan doesn't give a fuck that you're there, and Elon doesn't even know who you are, B. I said this a couple of years ago in one of my videos. Brendan's biggest problem was trying to become a comedian whilst...
Oh, sorry to interrupt you, dude. Is this guy wearing a mask? And wait, this dude has his arm around Brendan, and Brendan has both of his hands in his... Brendan, tell me you're into guys without telling me you're into guys. This is like a... yeah. Whoa.
Still trying to have a voice in the MMA community. If he had never tried his hand at stand-up comedy and instead used his podcast profile from JRE and The Fighter and the Kid to open up a gym franchise, I really think he'd be absolutely killing it right now. I really do. If you think about all the drama he's been involved in, almost all of it comes from him trying to be a comedian and struggling for acceptance within the industry. All of that shit with Bobby Lee and Kalila would have never happened. The internet wouldn't have turned him into a meme because of Gringo Papi. He would have been just another retired MMA fighter who was friends with Joe Rogan and made a name for himself in his own lane. I actually think he could still do it now. Brendan still has some support in the MMA community. He could move back to LA, drop The Fighter and the Kid and the Golden Hour, put all of his energy into producing a professional MMA show, actually watch the fights instead of watching the highlights, fire Chin and get a decent producer who understands basic audio-visual production, maybe a research assistant to give him a cheat sheet before every show, and then open an MMA gym, work hard, grow the membership base, prove that it's a viable business model, then get some investors on board and expand around the country. Everyone would leave him alone and he'd make a shitload more money. I mean, look at the title of this episode of The Fighter and the Kid, Schaub on why he shaved his head. And this is the only part in the whole podcast where he talks about it.
Let me ask you a question, Brendan. When I'm sure you mentioned it already many times, but why did you shave your head?
The boys wanted to shave their head, and they asked me to do it, and I was like, yeah, why not?
And how do you feel?
I like it.
Don't care.
No, does it feel a lot like
Oh,
better?
it's so much easier.
That's what I'm saying. Like,
I'm a fan.
And my mom always gets mad how I wear hats all the time. My mom does, and my wife has been asking me to shave my head forever, and I never was just like, nope,
likes
nope,
it, right?
nope. Yeah, she loves shaved
It
head.
looks way better.
And then the boys wanted to do it when they came out here because it was hot.
yeah.
And they're like, Dad, do it with us. And then so we all looked exactly the same.
Shaving your hair is one of the best feelings to me.
Oh, okay. Well, then why don't you shave your head, Chin? Someone left me a comment saying how he's like, do you all notice that Brendan shaved his head because he's most likely trying to go back to when he was famous, when he was at his prime with a shaved head? That's deep. Subconsciously, I think Brendan is trying to roll back the clock. But Brendan, when you had a shaved head, you weren't dressing like a freaking mechanic, and you weren't leaning back like this. I don't care. Yeah, I don't know. Dude, the energy is just so gone.
Yeah, it's easy. I just take that 2-guard and do it myself now.
And you could do like mini fades too to make it look really
Yeah,
clean.
I can't do fades yet. Let's
Yeah, you
not get
can.
crazy. I don't want to my shit
You
up.
could fade. That's like super fadeable.
Really?
Yeah,
Leave
that
Duh.
length. Right, much.
Yeah, I
He's
do.
saying
I
he
do T
can't
and
do
Bossies like once every week.
Yeah.
There's fresh cuts.
Seriously, they named a whole show after Brendan shaving his head. Bro, nobody gives a fuck. He's talking about his hair, but he's not even in focus because the autofocus was locked on Bryan the whole time. Chin, set it to manual focus and put them both at equal distances from the camera in the 2-shot. Fuck me dead, what are we doing here, B? I don't know if you guys can tell, but I'm actually kind of disappointed with this whole Texas move. I really thought that Brendan was going to put a bit of money and effort into the studio and try to pull some guests on the show, but this is just fucking miserable. There are quite a few theories going around about how he's still making money, and I definitely agree that they're buying bot views. I'd say at least 30 to 40,000 per episode. They're going to get caught eventually and find themselves on the receiving end of a massive lawsuit from Podcast One. That's how they're still making money. It's because the ad deals are syndicated by Podcast One, and they spread the revenue around to all the podcasts on their payroll. That's how all of Brendan's shows are still going under the radar and making money. They're part of a group. They don't have direct deals with any of the advertisers. But that's obviously just my opinion. I don't know for sure. I'm just speculating based off public information. As for Bryan Callen, I think he's playing the waiting game and he's holding out for Brendan to have the idea to part ways. I don't think he has the balls to burn that bridge with Brendan, so he's planting the seed for Bupper to turn around and think it was his own idea. That sounds like something Bryan would do, so we'll just have to wait and see how it all pans out. So make sure you subscribe to this channel and my second one, Podcast Cringe Bites, so you don't miss out on all of my uploads throughout the week.
Big ups to Podcast Cringe for the video. That would be super diabolical if he was trying to plant the idea in Brendan's head. That way it would be Brendan's idea to part ways. But, I mean, what else is Brendan gonna do? Seriously. But that is crazy. I hated Rain because I'm like, why are you sponsoring Brendan? But if all the ad deals are going through Podcast Cringe, I mean, if all the ads are going through Podcast One, that makes sense. They're not giving money to Brendan. They're giving money to the bigger company. You know what I have to say about that? Let's get on to the next video.